In regards to some people, I think they use they have emotional reasons, and it is, for example, some people they think that Islam is quite draconian and has medieval practices, and that basically shouldn't we get a new revelation as time has gone on? What would you say to this?
Excellent, excellent. You see, first thing is going back to what we said earlier on, when it comes to time and space, you cannot subject the creator to time and space. So that would automatically and necessarily lead to the reasoning behind why revelation was given at particular times from a time perspective. Okay? It is patently obvious that when the revelation came, the revelation was to contain guidance for what we would call in the physical realm all time, to the time that the universe will come to an end, whenever that may be. Yeah? So, again, this reasoning is quite flawed. If you tell me, okay, isn't it time for a new revelation? Yeah? It was medieval, it was this, it was that. Well, I would suggest that, look, these are titles that were given to try and explain a particular aspect of history. Yeah? Not a problem. There's no problem with that. However, if you look at what we are talking about, whether it's medieval rules, etc., I will give just one example. We can go into detail in terms of the legal aspects, the moral aspects, etc. But just one example. Yeah? The Quran tells us that if we falsely accuse a chaste woman, 80 lashes.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody were to say to me, come on, that's barbaric. Yeah? I said, look, you see, you are looking at it from an emotional perspective. Yeah? Let's look at it on a logical perspective. And because this happened, and I asked, there was a lady we were speaking to, yeah? And I said to her, just then the husband also arrived. I said to both of them, I said, look, I want to ask you a question, because she had said that, look, doesn't it sound barbaric? I said, look, I'm going to tell you something, yeah? And I'm going to use a recent example, which just happened a week or a week and a half ago, brother. Yeah?
Okay.
It happened in India.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
This poor lady is criticizing the government. Like in any democracy, you have the right to criticize. But that criticism should not lead to potential, security issues, etc. Okay, not a problem. But this particular lady, unfortunately, was what this common term was trolled online. But what somebody did was to superimpose her features, her facial features, onto a pornographic movie. Now, ask any parent, if somebody did that to your daughter, do you think a slap on the wrist is sufficient? Every one of those reasonable parents will say no. In fact, I can guarantee you the majority of the fathers will say, give him to us. We will not let him live. You see, this also goes back to about 15 years ago, just over, brother. There was this guy who always wrote in the newspaper about how barbaric capital punishment was. Yeah? Every time the subject matter came up, he would write. Sadly, somebody murdered his daughter.
Oh.
And he, ever since, became an advocate for capital punishment. What changed his mind? Now, it's not pleasant to say, oh, something had to happen like that for him to realize. No, I would never ever think like that. But the reality is, that when the Creator has given us the rules, and I'm looking at it from a legal perspective, you will find that the Creator knows what the Creator created, and accordingly has provided these particular aspects of what we would call legal penalties. Yeah. Now we also know that no, it isn't as straightforward as that. Yeah, because you need due process. Yeah, but right now we have got instances not only of India, it would be unfair to say that, all over the world we have got vile individuals who will secretly record females, and then they will blackmail those females. A slap on the wrist sometimes just will not do it. Yeah. Now, I'm not advocating that every one of them has to. No. What I am saying is that if you look at the prescriptive elements in the Quran, any reasonable, logical, rational person would agree with them. But you have to look at it from that particular angle. If you are going to apply emotions to it, you will find that you go into a court of law even today, go into any English court of law, and start crying and becoming emotional in front of the judge. Yeah. The judge is not going to say, look, although I sympathize with your situation, 50 years in prison. Yeah? You have to separate that. Why? Otherwise, you are not going to be able to operate. In fact, the Quran mentions it. It says, mete out the necessary penalty before your emotions take you over. Yeah? It can be positive or negative. Yeah? Yeah. It's incredible that you will find how relevant. In fact, today, I would submit to you, Brother Suleiman, that society in the United Kingdom I'm talking about, I'm not talking about anywhere, society is rapidly going downhill. I was going to use another word, but I'm not going to. It is rapidly going downhill. Do you know why? That control element, that respect element is starting to disappear. Yeah? Yeah. Things are made so. I mean, people actually on Christmas, I don't blame them. Yeah. If they are homeless, what do? Some of them, they will go make sure that there's a policeman or somebody looking at them, and then they will throw a stone at the glass so that they can be arrested and spend time in the cell. Yeah. So at least they will get food and shelter over Christmas. Why is society coming to this situation? I'm not saying that there won't be, they will. But there is something seriously wrong with the way society is going. Yeah? We have got a pandemic. But before that, we have a pandemic of drug taking. We have a pandemic of drunks. We have got alcoholism on the rise. And now a new phenomenon for the ladies also, where they are becoming addicted to online gambling.
Ladies also.
Yes. And you know what the amazing thing is, if you say to them, right, look, watch this, yeah, on a simplistic level. If you're a good Muslim, you don't drink. If you're a good Muslim, now I'm using the word good Muslim. I'm not casting aspersions. In fact, let me change it. If you live by the rules of Islam, you wouldn't be a drunk. If you live by the rules of Islam, you wouldn't drug take. If you live by the rules of Islam, you wouldn't gamble. Yeah. Just these three combined, do you know how much money the Treasury would save from all the hospital visits by the drug addicts who get overdosed? Even more importantly, how many cases of domestic violence are you seeing as a result of people getting drunk? Yeah. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that if you're a Muslim, you won't indulge in things like that. You will, but it makes only logical sense that appropriate laws and appropriate penalties should be applied where the necessity arises. And that is all Islam is saying. Like I said, there is a legal procedure and process that has to be strictly undertaken for any eventual penalty that is considered to be barbaric. I would submit to you that the most barbaric thing would actually be to point a finger and accuse an innocent woman of something that she is innocent of.
Yeah.
Now, again, like I said, and these are aspects which, inshallah, in the Brain Academy, I am going to touch, is also the psychology perspectives, yeah, which again have been ingrained in us, and they are from a perspective which was based on trial and error. Yeah. Now I'm making a comparison between what I mean by trial and error and what we have as a revealed source. Now, if there is a revealed source and there's trial and error, not necessarily saying that you won't lead to what is considered to be a fact. Of course you would. But part and parcel of those facts you will find are things which psychologists, psychiatrists, etc., may rely on, which totally are, for want of a better word, wrong.
Yeah.
But these are aspects which we'll be considering in detail, inshallah, in the Brain Academy channel. But if somebody were to tell me, Ismaili, I would actually submit to you that Islam is far, far ahead of everything. In fact, it is so advanced that you need to reach a certain level to understand how advanced it really is. But that should not stop you from actually investigating.